Okay, we're having some minutes. I want to make sure we go live, so we'll be able to also help the guys to also be in class. So we're starting. So today we'll be looking at what we call joint venture. And this is what we have looked at earlier. So I want us to pay attention to what we are doing, and we'll get to see that what we are doing is not something that is very difficult. Are we getting that? And I want us to note that we have been dealing with this earlier. So this is a continuation of our class. So for other colleagues of yours, they can get the YouTube link. So there's a YouTube link that I've sent to your WhatsApp. So that will also help in getting to be with us in class. So which you can share with them, and then everybody will all be on the same page. So let's quickly just do a recap of what we did in the last class. We are on YouTube already. So in case you have anybody that is not in class, you can also view this after the class. So I will make sure that we'll quickly go on class now. And as we are going, we'll get everybody done and not the rest. Okay, in the last class, we started discussing on joint venture accounts. And what we looked at in joint venture account, we looked at the relationship between two other parties. We said is the relationship between two or more people as business for a specific task. And if you consider what we have done in our notes earlier, you remember we looked at all these transactions. So for those that are just joining us, they're not going to miss anything much. So joint venture has been described as any relationship set up basically are we there by two or more persons or parties pulling their resources together for the nature of executing a specific task for profitability, and is often meant for one-off activity. Remember, we said that is meant for one activity. We also look at it that partnership confirmed to be a particular adventure. And we have also looked at this, and I told you that when it comes to ICANN exam, for your ICANN exam, you might be asked what are those characteristics of joint venture, which we have seen there. We looked at it as members, involvement, registration. We also look at the law. We considered what are the three classification, which we look at jointly controlled operation, jointly controlled assets, and we looked at them one by one, in which we look at what we call the jointly controlled assets, the jointly controlled entity, and operations I have given to you. And we also mentioned by saying that there are two methods available for record keeping. We said that each venturer opens a separate account to record transactions carried out by him while in business, and we also have the separate one. And I said earlier that saying that we debit resources or expenses incurred for venture, which we saw in our preparation using the format I gave to you last class. In that format, you could see all those, and I told you where you can be asked in the exam, list two similarities between joint venture and partnership, and list two differences between joint venture. If you look at this last diet that was written March 2020, joint venture question was one of the questions and was considered. We also remember in the last class, we look at the similarities and the differences. Then we also look at these items that I've spoken about. Then we'll look at the method of accounting. Then we also look at the resources, like what I told you. I said whatever is on the debit side has to do with the resources or expenses by the venture, and then we have the income. Then we also look at how the account, we look at this as a smaller event. And in addition to what we have done in class, having solved question number 1, we said the step, close the joint venture memorandum account, determine the profit and share the profit. Then I said close the venture account, determine the fund transfer. Like what I told you in the class, I now explained to you that you might be asked by the examiner that what do you need to have? And I told you, be very careful if the examiner have to give you question. Like you've had this in the question in I can ask. So we have it as a question. This is a past question. You are told what is the aim of preparing the joint venture memorandum account. And I told you what is the answer. We said aim and to determine the profits of each venturer. And we looked at that, like what I've told you, that is also a past question. So I haven't considered that. Let's quickly go to what we've said we'll be looking at. I've given you this as an assignment. You also remember this is in your manual that we have shared. For those of you that are on YouTube and you don't have the manual, you can just drop a message, your email, and this manual will be forwarded to you. So we also have this that has been discussed. And please, for purpose of those people that are on YouTube, this manual is prepared by Risk-Free Tutors. It's an ICANN tuition center, so that nobody will come and hold me for plagiarism. I'm a co-writer of the manual. And we have done this. I think we have done question number 1. We've looked at all the transactions. So for those on YouTube, you can go through it and all the rest. Question number 1 has been done. So question number 2 is the assignment. So what I will advise, in order to know that you are with me, question number 2, I want somebody to read. So who is there to read? Please let somebody read. Unmute your mic and read. Yes, please. Yetunde.
Isaac of Ghana and Eunice of Nigeria entered into a joint venture.
And you made a mistake again. Yetunde, hold on. You remember what I've told you, that if you are given any question to solve for your exam, the first thing is to read the word.
Sir?
What is the first thing you have to read?
I can't remember, sir.
If you are given any question in your exam, I told you, haven't done what we call a kind of first skimming reading. Your attention must be placed on what? Which item will you place your attention? Which of the items? Requirements. Are you there now? Do you understand that now? Hello, Yetunde,
Yes,
Gracie,
sir.
and Daniela. The
Yes,
first
sir.
thing that you must pay attention to is the what? The requirement.
Requirement.
So, and I told you why you need to pay attention to the requirement is because that will help you to know what is the requirement the examiner wants you to do. Are you there now? So please,
yes, sir.
Can you tell us what is the requirement?
You are required to show the statement showing the result of the combined transaction. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. Go on, please.
Okay. And also the joint ventures account in the books of the two venturers. assuming that Eunice agrees to take over the remaining 5 cows at landed cost plus 30% thereof.
Okay. So it simply means that we all get that information. So if you get that, the first thing we need to do is to look at the requirement. So what is the requirement? You are required to prepare the joint venture memorandum account. So what I have to do is that I need the name of the two entities. What do you have? What is the name of the two owners of the business?
Isaac and Eunice.
So Isaac and what? Eunice. So let's have it. So we have Isaac. So that's what we have. So the first thing we need to prepare is what we call the joint venture memorandum account. And which currency are we using? The currency question is what? Naira.
Naira.
So I've told you. But for you that you are writing your exam for ICANN West Africa, you might have Ghanaian dollars also as your, or you can have any of the currency in West Africa. So the next thing we now need to do is the book of Isaac. On our book of what? Isaac. Or let's use the, can decide to call it Isaac. Right there. So that will now be the joint venture account with who, please? With Eunice. Then whose account next? Are we to prepare? So now Eunice book. So that will be what we call the joint venture account with Isaac. So we have our 3 ledgers required. So let's now read the question and then we'll pick them as they should be done. So let's have the question done. So what do we have here? They are having, according to the examiner, that Isaac of Ghana and Eunice of Nigeria enter into a joint venture for the purchase and sales of cattle, agreed to share profit and loss ratio in what? What is the proportion of sharing their ratio?
3:2.
Ratio 3 to what? 3